All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Talking hoops, man. Talking hoops at 12:30. I like this new time change over here. Always jealous of you. I know you prefer the East Coast time, but hope your day's going well, my man. Plenty of day left. Plenty of basketball tonight. 7 games, actually 9 games in the association. 7 on FanDuel main slate, 7 on DraftKings main slate because, hey, they're giving us some time. We have the last game, easy lock times today. Last game locks at 8:30 Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern game. So if you don't want to be around, you want to do something else, hey, play the main slate. You'll be done at 8:30. Showdown, night slate, though, 2-game night slate and showdown. Going to be a lot of fun today. Very excited for that. So if you want content, Rio done a great job in the showdown streets. Monday through Friday, gives you rankings, a slate plan, how he's going to attack that slate, which nobody out there does. So if you're having a bad main slate, you can't play it. You just want to play the night slate. Check out our showdown content, of course, projections, everything will be live as well. Rio, we talked a little pre-show, man. NBA is a grind. There is no doubt about it. You grind as hard as anybody out there. Still good amount of basketball, about a month in the regular season, which is going to be a grind. Playoffs, though, a lot of fun. Not the same game. I mean, these injuries, don't worry about it. Pretty straightforward rotations. You have to watch the game, no doubt about that. But I know you're probably excited for this regular season to wrap up. But how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Definitely, I love basketball season. The season's been a little bit different. Yeah, exactly. Ready for some DFS baseball for sure. Should be fun season over here for DFS baseball season. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the summer. Looking forward to getting some golfing in. Weather's starting to get nicer over here. Days are getting longer, so it's golf season. But yeah, still got some money to be made left in the NBA streets. Pretty gross slate tonight, I would say. Some low game totals, some defensive battles. This slate looks pretty interesting from a DFS standpoint tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. Decent amount of Q tags. We talked a little pre-show though. You think D Mitch will be back. The Raptors news is very important. That's 7 p.m. Eastern, so we'll get that though. LeBron's Q tag, that's not on the slate though. That's later as well. So yeah, I don't think too much will change. I guess at the end of the day, you never really know in the association, especially at this time anymore. Anyone can be ruled out. So you need projections, you need updates, cash report, GPP core report, correlation tools, stealing rankings, all in the NBA streets. Still a month left there. Playoff basketball will have you covered. MLB will be here. Like we're talking about, less than a month, man. Absolutely crazy. MMA still going on. PGA locks tomorrow. So we got the players this weekend, Millie Makers up top. And less than a month, we got the Masters as well. So PGA, best content in the industry over here at the Nation with DGen, Tambo, Hoop. Hey, if you want to give us a try to weekly, monthly, 6-month annual packages, use that promo code right here. Shout out our guy Mayo. Mayo gets you 10% off any package. Again, monthly, 6-month, annual. If you do join those, make sure to get in the Discord. Rio, I mean, again, I don't have too much broad slate overviews. I think we're going to talk about this Toronto-Detroit game to start. If there's a broad slate overview, it's Toronto is very thin. Detroit without Azure Thompson running a pretty tight rotation. It's going to be those two teams is how I see the chalk. From there, you can figure it out. But yeah, any broad slate overview before we go game by game and talk about these 7?
No, I mean, obviously you're going to want to spend up for Luka tonight just with the way that he's been playing lately. It's pretty tough now because DraftKings finally priced him up near 13K. So I don't know do we have enough value to get up to him? We could probably make it work somehow, but yeah, I mean the cheap.
I think it'll be pretty popular. I think there'll be enough in this first game, or people it'll just be Luka, and then under 7K you can find enough viable guys that are going to get you roughly 30 minutes or whatever. I think people will go to. He's been so good, man, so good.
Yeah, he's been great. Matchups don't really matter for him, but I mean, are there enough high upside guys in the mid tier tonight to obviously nobody really matches Luka's upside, but if Luka gets 68. Is that enough when somebody, in the Pistons Toronto game, there's some pretty high ups of guys there. There's, Jokic is still on the slate. Some Cleveland Pelicans guys have a little bit of upside. So I think that there's some ways to play it. But yeah, I mean, Luka, obviously the top spin on every single slate. I did want to touch really quick on you shouting out the golf, because I don't know if you saw, but DGen going to be making his return tonight. The emergency streams are back, so definitely going to have to tune into that. Probably dip my toe in the PGA Street's been not playing as much lately, but definitely want to show him some support. Obviously, been going through the health stuff, but he's looking to make his return tonight, so I'm excited for that.
Hey, I did not see that. I'm pumped. I was playing poker this morning. Had to do a wedding. It's been busy over here. Shout out DJ. I'm very pumped for that, man. The energy he'll bring on that show. Big boy weekend. Millie's up top. That makes me super pumped. And yeah, definitely have DJ in my thoughts and prayers. But let's get into it. 7 games. First game of the night, like we talked about, a huge one. Toronto Raptors, Detroit Pistons. Pretty solid total, 232.5. Detroit 3.5-point favorites. Azur Thompson is out for Detroit, which is definitely important. Fontecchio will start. On the Toronto side, at least I expect him to start again. On the Toronto side, no RJ Barrett, no Jakob Poeltl, no Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley questionable, Gary Trent questionable. I mean, man, they're missing a lot of dudes already. And with Quickley and Trent Q tags, very important. We will get that news on this slate. Again, I think this is the game of the night in terms of ownership, close spread, big total. You talk about a lot of these pretty low spreads or pretty low totals in a lot of these games, like 204.5, man. What are we doing? It's March NBA DFS, like Orlando, Brooklyn. That's crazy. But yeah, this is by far one of the best games to target. Only could get better maybe if Quickley and Trent miss. How do you see it?
Yeah, we'll definitely see Simone Fontecchio get the start again, and he really didn't get much of a price bump, so I think he looks like a great value option tonight. But as far as the injuries go for the Toronto side of things, I'm not really too sure, because Quickley and Gary Trent got ruled out pretty early the last time that the Raptors played. So, I mean, there's a chance that they miss. We'll have the news early in the day, because it's the first set of games at lock. But I don't know. I kind of expect them to be back tonight. But if they miss, then you're looking at a pretty big ball handling role for Bruce Brown. You're looking at Grady Dick probably playing a ton of minutes again. I think that you would probably get Nwora and Jalen McDaniels back into the rotation here, and they look like pretty solid values. But yeah, really tough to break down the injury stuff for them, because I'm just not too sure. There hasn't really been a ton of reporting on it. But I will say that, I mean, the matchup's really good for Emmanuel Quickley. The Pistons, their defense has gotten a little bit better as of late, but their pick and roll defense gotten much worse. And Quickley starting to get a lot more of the ball handling role, kind of showing that same upside that we saw years ago when he was filling in some minutes for the Knicks. So I think that if he plays, he'd be a really strong option at 8.5K. I think Olynyk is he's priced up to a point where it's kind of tough to get to, because he's not playing. I think we all kind of expected him to get 34, 36 minutes, but this team just doesn't really want to give him those minutes. He hasn't topped 32 minutes in any of the games that Jakob Poeltl has missed, been right around like 28 to 32. I just don't think that that's enough for Olynyk to pay off a 7K price tag. So I probably won't go there as much. I guess he's decently low owned, so he's fine as a GPP option. It is a pretty good matchup versus Jalen Duren. Pistons rim defense been kind of bad all season long. But yeah, I mean, I really would just be looking to like Quickley if he's in. I think Grady Dick looks pretty good as a value option. I think Jonte Porter you could even consider at 4K. He's probably going to soak up all the backup center minutes, which is probably 20 minutes. He played really well against the Nuggets the other night too. Floor stretch big man, so he can shoot the ball pretty well. So I have some interest in him. And then I mentioned the Nwora McDaniels. I think that Jalen McDaniels, sorry, I keep getting that messed up, but I think that he kind of has the backup small forward role behind RJ Barrett, because I think that he was checking in for Barrett against the Nuggets. I think that he probably soaks up a good amount of minutes, and he's only 3.4K. So I think that if you're looking for like a punt value to get up to Luka, he's definitely somebody that you should consider. And then on the Pistons side of things, yeah, I mean, I mention it all the time how bad the Raptors defense has gotten. They're bottom 2 in the league over the past 2-3 months. So, giving up a ton of points at the rim defense has gotten really bad, especially, I mean, having Jakob Poeltl down there didn't really help a ton, but it's a little bit better than having Kelly Olynyk down low. And then the 3-point defense has been really bad. So, yeah, I mean, I have a ton of interest in Cade, probably one of my top spends at 8.6K. Very hurtful last game. He only saw 15 first half minutes. I don't know if it was due to like a long whistle or that's just how they wanted to maybe like backload his minutes a little bit. But yeah, he looked like he was on his way to a massive game, had like a 25-point first quarter and then didn't check in until like 4 minutes left in the second quarter. But yeah, I mean, if we get like 36 to 38 out of Cade here, I think that he's got massive upside. I think that 50 to 60 is in play for Cade in this spot. I think Duren is a great option, 6.7K. It is a little worrisome that they're not giving him a lot of minutes. I remember Monty Williams was saying a couple of weeks ago that they did want to continue to develop James Wiseman, and they've been pretty much giving him, 18 to 20 minutes on a nightly basis now. So the minutes upside for Duren has kind of come down a little bit, but I think that 30 to 32 should be enough for him to get it done in a matchup versus Kelly Olynyk, who will have a huge athleticism advantage and just overall quickness and skill advantage over him. Ivy's shown a little bit of upside alongside Cade. Definitely preferred Cade, but I think that he's okay at 6.1K. And I mentioned Fontecchio. I really like him as a value option. Not too into Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, this game's definitely phenomenal. Would you prefer Miles Turner or Duren if having to pick? Two guys that'll be relatively popular at the center position. 6,700, 52 or 6,700 Duren, 6,200 Turner, right there. Who would you choose if you had to pick? I think you're gonna say Duren.
Man, I don't know. It's really close because I do like the matchup for Miles. I think I'll side with. I'm going Duren. I'll go Duren here. I like Miles a lot too, though.
I do like the Cade shout because I mean ownership. So the slate, how it's broken up: Luka 12.8, Jokic 12K. Jokic is definitely going to be low owned. If you want to pivot to the upper tier, get a different same build type, but just go Jokic over Luka. The upside's there. I don't like going that. But then you go all the way from 12K to 9.4 with the next highest price in Halliburton. So yeah, your Cade call, like who he's in the range with. Kyrie. I like Cade more. I like Cade more than Miles Bridges. I like him more than Paulo, D-Mitch, Halliburton. Like Quickly. I think Quickly's going to be higher owned if he does play. I think that's an interesting pivot, or you can go both of them right there, not play something like Luka. So, yeah, great game to load up on. The Quickly Gary Trent news is big. Like Grady Dick, I think, would be the biggest bump for me if one of them were to miss. What about the Liberty guy that everyone's tilting that was going to start? If both of them were out, do you think they need his ball handling?
Oh, man, that is super tilting because I had him in my core that night. I was pretty high on him. I'm high on him as a player, but he was kind of just standing off in the corner when he got the minutes and just did not see a ton of minutes. I mean, I think that if Quickly misses, they're going to need some ball handling because I didn't even mention that RJ Barrett had a really big ball handling role last game with all those guys out. So I mean, they will need somebody to fill in those minutes. Probably would be Liberty, but man, it's really uncomfortable.
So
I'm not too sure.
6.96% usage rate. 2 shots. I mean, you can't get lower than that. The other games, though, weren't nearly as bad. But you would need both of them to be rolled out. Something like Bruce Brown, Jake asked about, and I saw your MGK. I don't have tattoos across my whole entire body, Jake, so not MGK there. But, yeah, Bruce Brown will be one of the most popular plays on the slate. Point guard or guard and small forward eligibility, especially if Quickly misses or Gary Trent. Like Bruce Brown will get a lot of ball handling role right there as well. So, yeah, great game. I like you said no Isaiah Stewart. He's going to be decently owned, too, with the power forward eligibility. So, yeah, I like go Duren. You can fade that. Fontecchio looks great. What about like a Marcus Sasser? Did you mention him or you talked? Yeah, that was the last name I got for you. Marcus Sasser?
I mean, I don't really have much of a take on him. It's just the kind of backup point guard, shooting guard minutes. So I think that he makes a lot of work if you wanted to get to
Luka.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of those, yeah.
Yeah, so but I don't think that you're expecting a ton out of him.
I think playing Luka without Sasser is interesting. Like if a lot of people right now, because there's not too many of like these really low 3K options. I'm trying to look like who else on the slate. Larry Nance is kind of cheap. I mean, I think Sasser is going to get a decent bit of ownership, and a lot of it's going to be in Luka build. So I think that's an interesting, like you could play Sasser in more mid-tier builds or Luka, no Sasser, I don't like Sasser, not Luka as much, but obviously it's basketball. You have what, 9 spots, 8 spots, whatever. Like you can figure it out. However, 9 spots that is. No, it is 8. It's 8. Yeah, but I think that'd be Luka avoiding the Sasser pairing with Luka, since he's really the only dogs or the only cheapies down there that people will play right now is interesting. What are you laughing at?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
I was just you didn't know if it was 8 or 9 spots. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, because FanDuel's 9, DK's 8. Yeah. All right, let's keep it going. At least I think, and now I have to do the math. 1 center, yeah. All right, let's keep it rolling. This is the easiest cross-off game for me. Nets Magic, the 204 total. I mean, dude, Nets are implied for 99 points. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing. But you got no injuries. Simmons is out. Nothing else to worry about though. No Q tags. Snail's pace. Like, what do you see?
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. I think this is a pretty. This is just max 1 spot for all around. I think.
Neg 0.
Yeah, but I would say like Paulo is always kind of fine. Just I guess because he has upside, but like nothing about the matchup stands out. Going to be guarded by Dorian Finney-Smith. Tough matchup. Really good rim defense. It's just kind of like the nature of the slate that like I could see a lot of really low scores tonight, and if Paulo's 50 is like on the winner, it would not surprise me. I don't know if he gets 50, but yeah, nothing about the matchup stands out. And then Cam Johnson going to make his return tonight. Not sure if he's going to start. Orlando been a little bit worse for pick and roll guys, so really only the 2 that I'm considering would be Cam Thomas and Dennis Schroeder. But yeah, it's really thin. I'm not like running to play these guys by any means.
Yeah, 6-game slate, pretty easy. And I didn't even say hi to people in the beginning. So, hey, we got makeup time from that boring game. Sean, Michael, Jake, Mark, Philly Phantom, Takedown, Gator Nation, Jasmine, familiar faces, Cody Berry, what's going on? Pair buys in here as well. And I think that's everyone so far. If I missed you, I apologize, but appreciate everyone hanging out. Early start time, 44 people watching. A lot of people watch on playback. Whether you're watching live or playback, just take a timeout, 2 seconds out of your day right now. Thumbs up button helps us out a ton, helps Mayo out. Subscribe button also helps him out. Then head over to the SHIPIT Nation YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button there. Hoop went live for PGA. We'll have the emergency stream with the Jen tonight. Do not want to miss that. Tons of money up top in the golf streets. No better time. Head over to shipitnation.com. Use that promo code MAYO. Get you 10% off any package. Get in there before tonight to get all that PGA content, MMA content this weekend as well. Let's keep it rolling. I mean, all those games are going to be better than that Nets Magic game. We went from the best game on the slate to the worst game on the slate. So all these next 5 will be in between. Bulls, Pacers, 229 total. We got Pacers 4-point favorites. Benedict Mathurin out again for Indy. Doug McDermott out means nothing. No injury news to worry about on the Chicago side, at least no changes. I mentioned Miles Turner. I mean, 2 very good center plays in this game. Vooch at 8-3, Miles Turner at 6-2. Duran's a good center play, but like those are 3 of the better center plays on this slate. It's not like we have a Luke Cornett or something from yesterday. So I think you can easily get to both those centers. Tyree, I mean, man, Siakam, bro. Of course he did something. 40, I said this dude never goes over 40. Hardly has. He got 46. I don't know. I'm still having the same sentiment. He's going to get some ownership. I think in tournaments, there's other ways I'd rather go. DeRozan in this game too. Oh, we got both these guys, both the mids right here. And then Nesmith, shout out to you yesterday. Good call on Nesmith. Was low owned, 35 minutes, 30 DK points, 6 for 12 from the field. So can we go right back to him?
Yeah, for sure. This is even a better matchup than the one versus OKC last night, which is the main reason that I like Nesmith. Bulls dead last in catch and shoot defense, dead last in 3-point, or I think the second worst 3-point defense, just behind the Jazz this season. But yeah, I mean, Nesmith going to be out there for a ton of minutes with no Benedict Mathurin. I think he's totally fine in the value tier again here tonight. I think he's got pretty good upside with the minutes. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised at the game total of this one. You know, normally Bulls games pretty slow pace, pretty low scoring, but I guess it makes sense when going up against the Pacers, who play as the fastest team in the league. So yeah, I could see some pretty big fantasy scores in this one. You mentioned Vucevic. I do like him tonight a lot. He had a really good game against the Pacers earlier this season. Pacers rim defense, obviously one of the worst in the league. They've been giving up pretty big games to centers as of lately. They are dead last in pick and roll defense, allowing a good amount of points to pick and roll men as well. So I think Vooch, pretty good upside, 8.3K. Yeah, I mean, we have the two DeMar DeRozans in this game with DeMar and Siakam. I'm not too sure what I want to do with it because matchup-wise, I know, but matchup-wise, this is telling me it's a good DeMar spot. He's actually been decent lately, showing a little bit of upside. Had 50 DK points in 3 straight games before the blowout last game versus Dallas. He does lead the Bulls in pick and roll scoring this season. Pacers bottom 2 DVP to power forward. So matchup wise, really good spot for him. I guess at ownership, it's fine to always get away from DeMar because he's not going to. I don't think he's ever going to kill you for not playing him. But every time we say that, he does. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do with DeMar yet because I do like the matchup a lot for him. But yeah, I mean, it is a slate where you might just need raw points with it being a little bit low scoring. So maybe I'll get some DeMar.
I mean, right in the range. Do you like Cade? There's Quickly. What about a Jaren Jackson? What about Jimmy Butler? You like Cade more, right? Or than DeRozan? I know prices are all kind of similar. You like Quickly more. What about those other two, Jackson or Jimmy or Zion or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I always prefer Zion over him, so I guess that would be good. That's the pivot right there because they are both power forward eligible. I guess it's more so just a positional thing because, there are spend down options at both forward positions. So yeah, you can get away from DeRozan for sure. Now that I think about it,
I'm not going to try and. I mean, did it to Siakam. Here comes the DeRozan 60 spot. So not trying to talk you off, but I just think there's other more upside plays in that range personally.
Yeah, there always is. I don't even think Siakam was optimal last night, even with his 45. I don't think that he was on the optimal in the lotto.
Yeah, I mean,
something could correct me. I'm not sure if he was or not, but
NBA is one of those sports. He definitely didn't kill you, and he could have been on the nut lineup, but it's not like MMA. Obviously, there's so many different guys. But yeah, like you said, even DeRozan gets you 53. It's not guaranteed to be on the flagship winner today by any means.
Yeah. But getting back to the Bulls side of things, I don't really like the spot as much for Kobe White. I guess the matchup is decent. Like I mentioned, pick and roll defense really bad for the Pacers, but his ball handling's coming down a little bit. DeMar's getting more usage, not shooting the ball all that well. Think he's going to see a pretty solid defender on him in Andrew Nembhard. So I'm kind of okay getting away from Kobe. I think he'd be my third least favorite of the big three for the Bulls. I think I do like Io a little bit, 6.1K pace up spot for him. Been playing a ton of minutes. I think that he's pretty solid if you're going with the mid-tier type build to include in there. I don't know. I don't think it's a spot for Caruso, really. Don't really have much to say. Not going to really add much offense. Just going to be out there for the defense on Halliburton. But transitioning to the Pacers side of things, yeah, like I mentioned, Halliburton going to get the Caruso assignment tonight. I would imagine it's either going to be Caruso on him or a Siakam. If it's Io on Halliburton, then I really like Halliburton tonight because he's starting to come out of the shooting slump a little bit. Shot 8 for 15 last game, put up almost 50 DK points, another double-double. I think the last time these teams faced off, he went for 20 and 20. So, I mean, I think that the big games are coming very soon for Tyrese Halliburton. I think that tonight could be a good spot for him versus a team that just funnels wide open shots to three-point shooters. So this could be either a high assist game for Halliburton or a high scoring game, but I think I'm going to have some Tyrese tonight. Siakam, always going to be a fade for me, almost 40% ownership. The matchup's really not all that great for him, especially if he's going to be guarded by Alex Caruso. That's totally enough for me to get off of him. Do like Miles Turner, like I mentioned. The Bulls are bottom 4 in pick and roll men defense, so allowing the fourth most points to roll men, as well as being dead last in catch and shoot defense. Their rim defense actually got really bad as of late. They got killed against the Mavericks. So I think that with Miles Turner kind of doing a little bit more than just launching threes now, things got pretty good upside even in 30 minutes. Like you mentioned with the Jalen Duren, it's very similar play to me. I think they're both really strong tonight. And then, I already mentioned the Aaron Nesmith. I really like him in the low value mid-tier range with the catch and shoot stuff for him.
Any thoughts on Jalen Smith? And if so, would you? I mean, the minutes aren't great, but he's a good point per minute guy. And again, if you're trying to get the Lucas or a Luka Cade, something like that, 4K power forward eligibility is fine. Would you take 20 on this slate right now?
Yeah, probably. I mean, if you are willing to risk him being ruled out post lock, then yeah, play him.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I think it's happened 3 times from this season, by the way.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think Kobe White's, I don't know. I guess he's fallen off a little bit as of late. Usage has been a little sporadic. Yeah, I don't know. 7.8K. I really like quickly right in that range if he plays like with no RJ and stuff. It just feels like he's such a stronger play. I like Zion's upside at the pivots. I think IO is fine. Yeah, the main plays. I mean, the center is by far my 2 favorite plays in this one. You like Tyrese. You never need to twist my arm. He's going to be super, super low owned too. Yeah, people are going to avoid that 9K range there. Yeah, I got really nothing much else to add. I like the Neesmith shout. You've been the Neesmith whisperer. You didn't like Caruso, who you've been good on too, so I like that. Both centers in this game, by far my favorite plays. We'll keep it rolling, though. 4 games left on the slate. Man, some of these games are gross, though. Like, we'll get to this next one. Pretty good real-life – you mentioned at the top. Pretty good real-life basketball, but fantasy appeal for Denver and Miami, not much over here. 216 total. Denver, 217 total. Denver, 3.5-point favorites. Heroes out on Miami, but other than that, no injury news to talk about. I get the Jokic stuff coming off a monster game, very low ownership again, but like I would just find the 800. Like Luka should be 14K. Like it just feels like plug in your 70, move on from Luka. Then you go to the positions. Center's pretty strong. We like Duren. I like Vooch. I like Miles Turner. Like then you go that aspect. You don't like picking on Miami down low with Bam and stuff. I don't like the Jokic, even at this ownership. It's not for me. And yeah, like my favorite play probably would be Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray, and just hope they get hot and put up a big one at low ownership. But yeah, nothing on the Miami side for me. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much share all the same feelings as you in this one. I don't think that I really want to get to Jokic tonight. Obviously, it's the same thing as Luka. He can beat any bad matchup. He's done it a bunch of times in his career. He's had success against Bam, decent success. He hasn't had like huge games against him. Just looking back at the game logs over their course of the times that they play each other in their career. But yeah, I mean the only if Jokic gets you 60, then that's fine. Like you can make that up, and you're also he's gonna be super low owned, so it's I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty.
I heard 60. It's an easy 0% for me.
Yeah,
and that shows 60 is a good game, but yeah, you want more at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll definitely be either full fading. I am in the $4 tonight, the 150. So I'll probably have a little bit of him just in case, and he's gonna be low on. So if I get 6% or something, then I'm above the field. But yeah, I don't love the spot for him at all. I do like Jamal Murray though a lot here tonight. The last time these teams faced off, he got ruled out mid game. I think he only played 15 minutes, but really good spot for the 3-point shooters on the Denver side of things. So that makes me like Jamal and MPJ a lot here. Their rim defense has gotten way better. They're one of the better rim defenses in the league now. But with that, we kind of talked about earlier in the season, Eric Spoelstra style defenses. They want to take away easy points at the rim, but they're okay giving up some 3-pointers. That's how they're playing right now. So Jamal looks really good to me. Been playing just lights out lately. And the Heat have given up some pretty big games to point guards as of late. I'll just name a couple guys, but Tyus Jones had a pretty good game, 12 points, 16 assists. SGA, I mean, these are all the top guys. SGA had 37, 5, 6. Luka, 35, 11, 11. And then Cade, 23, 4, and 8. And even my guy, Keontae George, went for 31 against them. So, yeah, pretty good spot for Jamal Murray, I think, and coming in with really low owned. I think that he gets very overlooked, especially if Quickly is in tonight. I think that I would probably just prefer Jamal over Quickly just for ownership because
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I Quickly shown huge upside, once or twice with this new team. He's got 50 a couple games ago. Obviously had the 60 against Phoenix. That's a really good matchup. But outside of that, been in the 40s most of the time. Jamal been, consistently in the 50s lately and playing a ton of minutes. This team is kind of trying to get back to the first in the West. So I think this is a game they definitely want to win in a finals rematch. So I like Jamal a ton here. And then MPJ, same reasons, really good spot for 3-point shooters. He killed this team last time they faced off, went for 30, 11, and 3 on 4 of 10 shooting from 3-point range. So yeah, I really like the spot for him. The Heat play a ton of zone defense, which will funnel a lot of shots to 3-point shooters. So MPJ for me, and then really nobody on the Miami side. I guess like Jimmy, always fine to keep in your player pool. It's like similar to the Paulo thing. Just raw points, he could be on the winner, but nothing really stands out. Going to be guarded by Aaron Gordon coming off of an illness, so don't love it. Don't love Bam right now at this price tag, low usage, sharing the floor with Terry Rozier. So yeah, I'm pretty cool getting away from these Heat guys.
Cool. Yeah, we share the same thoughts. Definitely an awful game. I prefer it more than Brooklyn Orlando if I had to pick, but that's because you can play one of MPJ or Jamal is what I would do. But yeah, 7-game slate, make it a 5-game slate. And it's not like we'll touch on these last 3 games. It's not like these 3 games are really great either. That's why a lot of this ownership going to Toronto, Detroit, with Thompson out for Detroit, Barrett out, multiple injuries, and it could even be more with Quickly out, et cetera. So, yeah, I mean, these next 3 games, we'll touch on Cleveland Pelicans right here. D-Mitch, a big Q tag in this one. You mentioned pre-show you think he will be back tonight, though. Looking at a 217.5 total. Pelicans 5.5-point favorites. No injury news on the Pelican side. No Mobley, no Strus, no Dean Wade for Cleveland, but expecting Mitchell back. I mean, yeah, like Donovan Mitchell is way more important than Dean Wade. Strus and Mobley are important, but they've been without him a little bit. They're priced accordingly. Jared Allen, like 8.4K. Garland, 7.7. I don't know if I can get there, really. On the other side, I like Zion. Zion's my favorite play at 8.3. Talk about Larry Nance, though, because Joe Val's minutes have gone way down, playing more small. Now, can they do that against Jared Allen? I mean, they don't have Mobley, which I think is definitely nice for Larry Nance. And, like, are they they're not going to match Joe Val's minutes with Jared Allen. Like, they'll be fine playing Nance at the 5 and Jared Allen against Jared Allen. So 3.6K, I think is interesting. 28, 26 minutes the last 2 games. What do you see?
Yeah, I'll start with the Cavs side of things because, yeah, you mentioned do think that Donovan returns tonight. This is kind of in line with their timeline of him. They said he was going to miss 3 games. I believe this would be the game that he'd be set to return. He was at shoot around. I believe he's on a pretty strict minutes limit, probably 32, 34 around there. But yeah, I mean, him coming back, just, high usage guy, going to take away all the upside out of pretty much the secondary guys. Garland is a no for me at 7.7K now. LeVert going to shift back to the 6-man role. I think you're off of Isaac Okoro and George Niang now at 5K. Definitely off of Sam Merrill. Yeah, I think the only guy that I would be considering tonight on the Cleveland side of things is Jared Allen. Yeah, I mean, not really much to say. He's just the safest from a minute standpoint. He's got Damian Jones behind him, not at risk of losing any minutes or anything like that. Jonas Valanciunas been not the greatest defender. Pelicans rim defense been pretty good this season, but yeah, I mean, the usage is going to come down a little bit. There's not really much to say. I just think that he's kind of fine just for his role. And then on the Pelican side of things, I'm in agreement with you. I think that Zion is the best play on this team at 8.3K. Assist numbers been good. Rebounding numbers have been really good with Joe Val losing minutes to Larry Nance. Matchup should be pretty good for him as well. I think he's going to see probably would see George Niang, which, I mean, that's one of the easiest matchups you could probably get. So I really like Zion tonight. Definitely prefer him over DeMar and some of the other power forwards in that range. But yeah, Larry Nance, they've done it a couple times this season where if Joe Val is not playing good or the other team is just kind of attacking Jonas Valanciunas, then they'll start Larry Nance in the second half of things. I mean, they've talked about it earlier this season about their lineup not really being solidified. They said they would look at different rotations, different starting lineups. So I don't think that Larry Nance will get the start out of nowhere, but I think that the minutes are pretty unsecure on Jonas Valanciunas. I think that Larry Nance is definitely starting to kind of vie for that starting center job, or at least the main center position. So yeah, I would probably be off of Jonas Valanciunas and would lean more into the Larry Nance thing. I do think that he could see minutes, even as an undersized center against Jared Allen. He's not like a Jokic or Embiid where he's going to be on the post like scoring all the time. Especially with Donovan Mitchell back, I think it's a lot less likely that Jared Allen is the focal point of the offense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it feels like we talked about the pick and roll stuff yesterday with like Luke Cornett and stuff. Like, it feels like D-Mitch back, more pick and rolls with Jared Allen and Garland, like Joe Val, cement feet. You'd rather Larry Nance defense there, and they're not going to ISO low post Jared Allen much. So yeah, I think 3.6K And again, center's solid. Like by far my 3 favorite centers, Vooch, Miles Turner, Duren. Larry Nance would probably be 4. And again, that can help you get Luka, get you multiple people like a Zion, other multiple people in that 8K range, etc. So not a great game again, especially talking Cleveland side. Like if somehow D-Mitch were to miss today, then yeah, Jared Allen I would definitely like. I would like Garland at 7.7. Okoro would get a bump at 5.2. Still don't really love that price tag. Niang's up at 5K. Probably just Garland and Jared Allen if you were to miss, but expect him to come back. No interest. Cleveland side. Zion, Larry Nance mainly on Pelicans. Any thoughts on like a CJ or Ingram? Or I would max 1 for sure, but like in that $4 150, what are you doing with them?
I'll probably get a little bit of both. Definitely not going overweight at all. Ingram, he was kind of seeing more ball handling for a little bit. Then Zion came back and took away some of that. So I think that I'd be okay getting away from Ingram. I do think that he's going to get the Isaac Okoro assignment. And I mean, Isaac Okoro, sneakily one of the better wing defenders in the league this season. So yeah, I'm kind of okay getting away from Ingram. CJ has been shooting pretty well, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, 6.6K. He's really low usage right now. So yeah, I don't know. Not much to say, really. I don't love these guys. Definitely max 1.
It's not a great game. I mean, this slate, pretty tough. Someone's got to win. Everyone plays with the same cards. But yeah, a lot of these games, pretty tough in DFS. Jamie likes Vooch a lot. Hey, I like Vooch too. Charlie, what's going on? Hello to you. Michael Dolan, what is up? Hope you're doing well. 2 games left on the slate. This one very big in terms of injury news. Like if you had to highlight injury news, Toronto with Quickly and Gary Trent, and then the Charlotte-Memphis game. Memphis is going to be a problem all year, I feel like. It's not going to get any better these last month that we got. But, yeah, Hornets, Grizzlies, another very low total, 203. We got Hornets, 2.5-point favorites. Charlotte side, they're without Seth Curry, Cody Martin. Trey Mann is questionable. Memphis side, they are without, Jaren Jackson's doubtful. Vince Williams is doubtful. Expect both of them to miss. Scottie Pippen questionable. Lamar Stevens questionable. Santi Aldama questionable. Start on the Memphis side is definitely more important. I think Charlotte's a lot easier to break down. I do like Brandon Miller, I will say, for Charlotte. I think he's another contrarian option. 7.3K, guard forward eligibility, mid-30s minutes, usage in the mid-20s. Like, for low ownership, he has upside to break the slate. Get you a 50-piece at 7.3. Pretty low owned. By far my favorite play on the Charlotte side. I think Miles Bridges is fine, but 8.8's getting up there. I'll let you touch on Memphis, though. If you have a lean on these Q tags, like Lamar Stevens missed yesterday, Scottie Pippen's questionable. They're thin. They are thin. So talk about Trey Jameson, too. We talk crap on him in another big boy game. I shouldn't say another big boy, but talk crap on Siakam. He did his thing. Trey Jameson did his thing, too. So, yeah, I guess take this game however you want.
Yeah. Memphis stuff is definitely going to be a bitch to keep an eye on for the rest of the season. Just like thinking about it, because their time slot is always like an hour and a half after lock, with them being West Coast team. So it's kind of, you have to backload for them sometimes because you get some really good value on these guys. So it's tough. I don't really have a strong lean on any of these guys because the Scottie Pippen Jr., he's been kind of ramping up for a little bit. With the Q tag is an upgrade from where he was previously. So yeah, I don't know. I think true 50-50 on him. Don't really have a strong lean on Lamar Stevens. I think Santi might be more on the doubtful side of things because I think he got ruled out mid-game last time, I believe, or he still played 30 minutes, but he was, I think he was kind of like laboring in that game. So he might be at risk of missing in this one. I think that if he misses, then Gigi Jackson probably going to get the start at power forward. But yeah, they kind of have a good amount of bodies now with, John Conchar was not listed. Luke Kennard was not listed on the injury report. Those are 2 guys that had been missing on back-to-backs. So I think if they're in and if Scottie Pippen Jr. is in, then that really takes off all the upside of these guys, especially the guards. Like you're not getting to Dejan Giroux, you're not getting to Goodwin. I don't think like Kennard would be a little bit too expensive. They have a lot of guards now. If all these guys were to get ruled in, I think that I would just want to get to like Gigi Jackson or Jake LaRavia, especially if Santi and Lamar Stevens miss. But yeah, I don't really have a strong lean. I think that Trey Jameson probably gets another start here. It's a good matchup. Again, he got the The Wizards last night went off for 24 and 6, and now he gets to go up against Charlotte, who is like the next best matchup for opposing centers. So don't think that he's the craziest option. But yeah, I don't really have a strong lean, nor do I have a ton of interest in these guys. I do have interest in Brandon Miller, like you mentioned earlier. Definitely one of those guys that has slate breaking upside in the 7Ks. The Grizzlies been pretty vulnerable to 3-point shooters at times this season, so I think that kind of feeds into his game a little bit. So yeah, I would have interest in Brandon Miller playing good minutes. Would definitely prefer if Trey Mann were to miss again, but yeah, regardless, have some interest in him. Not too into Miles Bridges. Yeah, I don't really have much to say on him. Nick Richards been playing pretty well lately in the playing low 30s every game, getting like right around 30 fantasy points a game. Not sure if that's going to be enough on this slate to win you a GPP, but he seems like a pretty safe cash game option, or if you need that much money in the center position if you're playing cash games.
What do you think about if Scottie Pippen does return? His last game a month ago? Like, what minutes are you looking at? I mean, the value is not great on this slate. Like, and obviously, if you think Santi misses or Lamar Stevens really means nothing. But I guess, yeah, what do you think? If Scottie Pippen does play, what does minutes look like? And does Santi being out or in change anything in any way?
I think he would probably start, but I don't think that you're getting 30 out of him. Probably 22 to 25 on the high end.
I mean, on this slate, how do you – man, I mean, that sounds pretty appealing to me on a slate like this. Like, you're comparing him to Larry Nance, compare him to Sasser, compare him to, I guess, Grady Dick's a little more expensive, Trace Jackson Davis. Like, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would probably kind of want to take a wait-and-see approach on him just because I guess like the starting lineup would kind of dictate my interest on it, because they do have a couple ways they can go. Obviously, Goodwin returned from the injury and played a ton of minutes last night. Yeah, he played really well. He's still on that two-way deal. So I need
him to start. I would need him to start, and I would be fine with it. If he didn't start, I don't think you can get there. Do you think Santi being out that would do anything though?
Yeah, I mean, GG Jackson probably get the start at power forward. I think
it would do anything for Scotty. It would definitely GG or like any of these. Like, there's not much of what Santi. There's not really what's the usage rate? 21, 11, 13, 17, 29 minutes vacated. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just more for GG, more for probably Laravia. Conchar would fill in some of those. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of trickling down a little bit to some of these forwards. Like, it's mainly GG would be the one that I think that you'd have to have the most interest in, just because he's going to chuck it, play pretty good minutes regardless of blowout or anything like that. But I mean, I think that Lamar Stevens actually does kind of have a pretty big impact on the rotation, because he's been seeing pretty good minutes. Was like right around 30 in back-to-back games before he got injured, consistently in like the low 20s to upper teens. So that would probably just make Trey Jameson safer from a minute standpoint, and probably still get Wenyen Gabriel some more backup center minutes. Also, I didn't even know, but I guess Wenyen Gabriel he signed a contract with a professional NBA team in Puerto Rico while still playing for the Grizzlies.
I didn't even know you could do that. And he's actually playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I don't got too much. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't. Lamar Stevens, I just mean his cheeks, but he was getting minutes. Like, it definitely, that Q tag is actually pretty important. Did miss yesterday, so I'm glad you brought that up, though. Santi, Q tag as well. I will say, then we got one last game. Like, I'm not backloading for this Memphis stuff, because this Detroit-Toronto game, like, if we don't have it, it's an hour in between. I just can't sacrifice it. But if two of those, if Scottie Pippen, Lamar Stevens, and Santi are all out, like, on the slate, that value is kind of tough. I think this Memphis spot, Trey Jameson, Conchar, GG Jackson, like, all of them would be fine. I guess they're not all value anymore, mid-tier-ish value stuff. But I think Memphis could be interesting if the news, the Q tags are ruled out. Last game on the slate. Appreciate, again, everyone hanging out. Hope you're having a good day. And if you want to join us at the Nation, get in before Golf Locks tomorrow. Millie Makers up top. Big boy prize pools out there. Big boy golf tournaments. Less than a month. The Masters will be there too. If you get a monthly package, there's also 6-month and annual weekly as well. But monthly package will take you through the Masters, a lot of MMA, NBA goes on. MLB will start in over a month too. You get all the sports coming up here. Mayo gets you 10% off. Use that promo code Mayo, 10% off any package. Rio, last game on the slates. Luka will definitely be owned in this one. Dallas Mavericks, Golden State Warriors. We have a 233 total. Dallas 7-point favorites. No Steph Curry on the Golden State side. No injuries on the Dallas side. Yeah, I mean, Luka definitely will be owned. We already talked about him with 12-8. Two solid center plays in this one. Trayce Jackson-Davis will get some ownership. Now, I mean, I think he comes off the bench again. Do you expect that same thing? People expect him to start. He didn't start. You think he comes off the bench in this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and still a solid play at 4-9 if he does. If he does get the start, ownership would be, I guess at that point, people probably wouldn't have spots open. But love Trayce. I think Gafford's interesting at center as well. Wiggins, Chris Paul, Clay, Kuminga, any interest in them without Steph? And then, yeah, Dallas side, I think Kyrie would be fine if I'm not playing Luka. It's definitely max 1, but I still don't like him more than Zion, quickly, Cade in that range personally. Luka just handles the ball so much. Maybe you disagree a bit, though, but yeah, your breakdown on this one.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think that the Maverick side is pretty easy to break down for me because I don't really think I'm going to be considering Kyrie tonight. Prefer a lot of these guard options that we talked about earlier with the Cade, the Quickly, Jamal Murray, those types of guys, much more than I prefer Kyrie. Yeah, Luka just, I mean, obviously, he's a usage monster, has, leading the league in like usage, touch time, all that stuff. So it just takes off so much of the upside of a guy like Kyrie who needs the ball in his hands to reach a ceiling. So, yeah, I mean, you're probably keeping him in your player pool, but definitely be a max 1 of those two. I don't think that there would ever be a way you'd get a lineup in 150 with them together, even if you didn't make that rule. But, yeah, still I would want to be max 2 of those guys. I like the centers a little bit, though. Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, I would be max 1 of those guys. They both got their last game, but huge blowout. They both just ran pure pretty much. But yeah, I prefer Gafford with the starting role kind of solidified now. Doesn't need to have the ball in his hands to get there. He's got the rebounding upside, the alley-oop, the pick and roll stuff with Luka looks really good right now as well. So yeah, I like Gafford a good bit tonight. The center position, only 5K. That's really all I'm considering on the Mavericks tonight. I don't really want to get to PJ. I guess you can keep him in your player pool just because he has shown upside. He got 40 against Indy, which was a bad matchup for 3-point shooters. Still put up 4 against them, 38 against Toronto. So I guess he's got a little bit of upside. I wouldn't be like running to play him by any means, but I would keep him in the player pool. And then the Warriors side of things is pretty interesting because this Mavericks defense, outside of the last game, they've been really bad. Second worst defense over their last 10 games. These Maverick game environments just been producing some really, really solid fantasy games. So I think that 1 to 2 guys on this Warriors team puts up a pretty good GPP score. I'll start with Kuminga up top because he's pretty interesting. Definitely with no Curry, that leaves behind a ton of usage. He's been taking some of that usage, but still not really seeing a ton of minutes. That hasn't really had a solid fantasy game in quite some time, but I think that this could be one where he does put up a decent score if he avoids Luka on defense. I think they probably want to put Wiggins on Luka on defense. And that's important because obviously Luka draws a ton of fouls. So I don't want anybody that's going to be guarding Luka tonight really in my lineups. So Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins, probably a max 1 of those guys, but I have interest in both of them. Chris Paul, going to be another game with him as starting point guard. Really solid floor with the assists and the rebound stuff, right around double-digit assists in his last 2 games, 8 and 9, I believe. Yeah, his last 2 games as a starter. So going to have an easy matchup against Kyrie. So I like Chris Paul a little bit. Don't really want to get to Draymond, almost 7K. I think Clay's got some decent upside with the Mavericks struggling defensively, especially versus 3-point shooters. Back in the starting lineup, so he looks pretty good. Definitely going to take a ton of shots while he's out there. I think Pods is kind of just like a pivot to those to Clay and Chris Paul, but don't love it. And then mention Wiggins. I like Trayce Jackson-Davis a little bit. Shown to be a really solid fantasy point per minute producer when he's given the minutes. So yeah, pretty good matchup against Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively as well. So I like TJD a little bit.
I like it. Great breakdown there. Yeah, not too much. Wow, holy cow. He's made 20. Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street. always in the Discord too. A lot of these familiar faces in the Discord a lot. Another reason to join. A lot of great info in there. But holy cow, that is.
Yeah, I think it's like
impressive.
He's gone 5 or 6 games without missing a shot.
How many of those are dunks?
Probably all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Even a layup he might have missed. This is interesting. Kind of game theory. Reminds me of a little MMA stuff. Well, I wouldn't say that we're in agreements Luka will be optimal if you're already saying that he will in this question. And you give me Cade getting 50. I mean, I would build plenty of teams like that. At 4,700 left a spot. It's not great for value, but there's enough guy. Like you just talked about Trace Jackson Davis, Grady Dick. You didn't like Isaiah Stewart, Fontecchio, Larry Nance, maybe
Sasser.
some of these Memphis guys, Sasser. Yeah. I think I would take 50 and then Luka, if you do think he'll be optimal. What are your thoughts there? Or
I don't know.
Not sign up for that?
I don't know if I would sign up for that personally, just because you really need all your value plays to hit. So, I mean, I guess like if Larry Nance,
but you also need others to blow up. Like, I don't think this is a slate where you're going to see like 360 on the winner. Like, it's a pretty tough slate right now. Like, you don't need all flames. Go ahead. What was your thought? Didn't mean that.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, do we like you really need, because you would probably need one of Sasser and Nance in your lineups to get to that to get to the Luka Cade builds. They don't really project that great, but I mean, they could get you like 18, and then I guess you probably left in like that 5K range. So if quickly misses, then like Grady Dick would look much better. TJD, like we mentioned, Bruce Brown, Fontecchio, Liberty. So yeah, I mean, I guess it could work, but I think that I'm kind of just preferring the mid-tier build because I do think that there's a good amount of these guys that have 50+ point upside, like Jamal, quickly, Cade, Vooch, like we talked about, Zion. I think I like the mid-tier builds a little bit better tonight.
Yeah, that's a two great saying. Seems like a balanced build type. And I will say, like, yeah, if you think that, and it totally makes sense to me, and you don't play Luka, that'll make you a little different right there as well. Like I said, I think the popular build goes Luka, figure it out from there. And it's not full punts like stars and scrubs. It's Luka and then a bunch of 4, 5, 6K guys with maybe one other guy a spend in between there. But yeah, absolutely love it. Hey, I was watching Hoop and on the golf. You're watching both of us. What's going on, Marquis? Again, check out the show Hoop did for golf. Emergency stream tonight from our guy DJ on the SHIPIT Nation channel. Very excited for that. Use that monthly code, 6-month or annual. Mayo gets you 10% off any package. Get in the Discord if you do join monthly, 6-month or annual. If you just want to give us a try for the weekly, see what we got to offer, $25 a week. You do not get Discord access. Everything else up on the site, though. Again, check out Showdown content tonight for NBA. Nice little 2-gamer there. If you're not playing it, though, 8:30 Eastern, your whole night's over. You can enjoy the day. MLB will be here before we know it, though, and you won't have to worry about late swapping all night long. Rio, you've done a great job thus far for all the people helping to make some cheese in the NBA streets. Got a month left, got playoffs, which is a little bit easier. Great breakdown today, as always, though. What's your final thoughts for the people?
Yeah, I mean, good. I don't know if I want to say good slate. It's a slate. There's always money to be made. Talk through everything, but man, I wish that these late 2 games were on the main slate because those are probably the best ones if we were to have the Lakers in Sacramento and Atlanta,
yeah, that's
Portland.
The nuts. Lakers, Sacramento is the nuts.
Yeah, but that's the showdown game tonight, so we'll definitely have content for that. I've really liked writing up some Lakers games lately. I mean, that's a huge game for standings. Yeah, we've been doing really well. Sir John Daly, we mentioned him yesterday, but he's been crushing it. But yeah, looking forward to the slate. Hopefully we can get some SHIPIT logos up top tonight. And then got a lot of sports coming up this weekend with PGA and MMA, like you said. So it's gonna be a good weekend over here.
Yep, NASCAR, PGA Showdown. I mean, PGA Showdown prize pools have to be huge. And again, no better Showdown PGA projections in the industry at ShipItNation.com. Head over, Mayo, 10, get you 10% off. Let's see some logos up top. Have a great Wednesday night, everybody. We'll be back Thursday, Nades and I, on the SHIPIT Nation channel, talking some hoops tomorrow at 4:45 Eastern. Yeah, that's it. Good stuff, Rio. Good luck tonight, my man. Good luck to everybody else out there. For Rio, I'm Titletown. Be safe. Have a good night.